Hello students, welcome to Sairam English classes. Today we will read the second poem of class 10th, A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. In this poem, we will know about the condition of a tiger who is in the zoo. And in this poem, the poet is also making a comparison between the life of a caged tiger and the tiger who is in the forest. Now, before starting the poem, we will know something about the poet of this poem. Leslie Norris. Leslie Norris, he was born in 1921 and died in 2006. His full name was George Leslie Norris. He was a prize-winning Welsh poet and short story writer. He is considered one of the best Welsh writer of the post writers or post-war writers, and his literary publication has won many prizes. It means we can say that he was a very famous poet, or he was one of the most prominent Welsh poet. Now I will tell you about some introduction of the poem. In this poem, the poet explains the agony, the hate, and the helplessness of a tiger who is in cage and lives in a zoo. Here, the poet explains what his life would be if he had been a free animal. He can live according to his wish. The poet has tried to explain about the conditions of the animals that are caged by human beings for their own fun. Now we will know, now we will read the lines of the poem. He stalks. Stalks means follows. In his vivid stripe, vivid, bright colored. Stripes, you can say that the lines, the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet, quiet in his quiet rage. Here the poet is saying that the tiger, he is confined in the cage. He is confined in the zoo and he was moving around in the cage under his bright colored skin. He is having a very bright colored skin, and he is having yellow stripes on his body, which was looking very bright color. He further says that he can take only few steps. Why he can take few steps? Because the cage is very small and it's not easy to move there. He is not in the forest where he can move freely on pads of velvet. Quite velvet means too soft. So he is having very soft paws. So nobody can able to hear his footsteps because he has very soft feet like velvet, because of which there is no sound of tiger's footstep. In his quiet rage, the tiger tries to control his rage, his anger, by quietly walking in the limited area of his cage, because here he is not having any option. So he was trying to control his rage, his anger, and he is angry, but he is not free to show his anger. That's why he is controlling his anger by moving in that limited area. Now I will tell you about some literary device used in this paragraph. And rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme means what is the rhyme scheme there? Line कैसे match हो रही है यहाँ पे? तो stripes. First line is ending with stripes. You can say it A. The few step of his cage, it is B. C. Quite, it is different, and cage is different with rage. So we can say B. So what is the rhyme scheme of this poem here? A, B, C, B. So that is called the rhyme scheme of the poem here. Now, second is here personification. Personification. Why it is personification here? Because the tiger is personified. Here the tiger has here the poet has written him, he has personified him. And another speech, what another literary device which is used here, velvet quiet. It means tiger's paws are compared with velvet. So we have used here, we can say that metaphor is used here. Metaphor is used here. Again, and enjambment because we can say enjambment which where the sentence is continued to the next line without any punctuation marks. One more is there, consonants. As you see the sound of stalks and stripes, there's a consonant there that is called consonant sound here. So this consonants device is also used here. Now we'll know the second paragraph of second paragraph. Now we'll read. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Lurking means hiding. He has hidden himself. Lurking means hidden. Sliding, moving quietly without being noticed by anyone near the water hole where plump deer pass. Here the poet is saying that if this tiger was free, he would have hid himself behind the long grass near the water bodies, as we see in the forest, pond, river, etc., so that he could easily catch a deer in order to have it as its food. So here he is making a comparison between the life of a tiger who is in the zoo and the tiger who is in the forest. The tiger who is in the forest, he is free to take his prey. And basically the poet wants to say that the actual life, the real life of a tiger is to live in the forest where he want to live, where he could catch his prey without the permission of anybody and eat it. But the tiger in the cage cannot do so because he is confined in the zoo and he was controlled in that small cage. Now we will read the third paragraph. Before reading the third paragraph, I'll tell you about the rhyme scheme. Is same here. Shadow A, grass B, then again hole C, then pass, grass and pass is again similar. So we can say the same rhyme scheme here. A B A B A B C B. What is their rhyme scheme? A B C B, as we have seen in the first paragraph. Again enjambment, alliteration. But what is here? Alliteration. Use of sound of P, plump and deer. So that is called alliteration here. What is called? Alliteration here. Now we will read the third paragraph of this poem. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, bearing his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Snarling, to make an angry or warning sound. You can say that warning sound made by animals. Here it is used for the tiger. The tiger is making a warning sound here. Bearing, showing fangs, two long sharp teeth at the front of the mouth of the animal. They are called fangs. Terrorizing, frightening or threatening. The poet is saying here, if the tiger would have been free, he would have snarled. He would have he would be free to make warning sound. he would have snarled around the houses which are located at the outskirts of the forest, which are located at the edge of the forest, and he would terrorize the people. He could frighten the people with his sharp tooth and claws, and this would create fear among the people who were living in the village. And it means in that way he can show his power to the villagers, and he can make them frightened by showing his power, which is the trait or which is the quality of the tiger. Tiger is very ferocious and he loves to be ferocious, but the tiger which is in the zoo, he has to control his emotions and is not free to show any emotion there in the zoo. Now we will read the fourth paragraph. Before going to the fourth paragraph, the rhyme scheme I think same. A B नहीं A B C B हाँ same is there, and one more is the one literary voice which is there. It is called onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, using what denote, and where is onomatopoeia? And the snarling. Snarling means making angry or warning sound, means it is giving the effect of sound, और using word which denote sound, और जो भी animals की आवाज़ होती है that is called onomatopoeia in literary device. Onomatopoeia. And consonants. One more is there, consonants. S sound, clause is there. His S is there. Again we are getting a S sound there in this line, that is called consonants, because we are getting consonant sound in this line. Next we come to the fourth paragraph. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bar, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Concrete cell, a cell is very unpleasant and small cage. You can say a place which is very unpleasant or very small. And here this concrete cell is cage. Now the poet comes to the reality of the tiger. Now he is making us familiar with the reality of the tiger which is inside the cage. He says that the tiger who is confined in a strong cell, he is confined in a strong cell which is made of strong building material. It is made of concrete cell. He further says that his strength is behind bars. It means the power which is having, it is locked in behind the bars, and up to that time which is till then he is inside the cage. He is not able to show his power, whether he is whether the tiger is very ferocious, but he there in that cage he is looking very pitiable. His condition is very pitiable, and his ferociousness is locked behind the bars. He just stalks in the cage. Stalking the length of his cage, it means he just stalk in the cage. He just moving slowly and quietly in that cage only, and he never tries to terrorize the visitor. He is just ignoring the visitor. The visitors who came there to see the tiger, who came to watch the tiger, the tiger is not paying attention there. He don't want to terrorize the visitor. He never tries. He is not having a feeling to terrorize them. He just don't want to make frighten the visitors, because his power is restricted by this cage. Therefore, he never tries to terrorize the visitor, as he cannot attack them. If he was in the forest, he can show his power. He was free to terrorize the people of the village, because he can attack there, he can show the power, but now he is inside the cage, so it is useless to show their power inside the cage. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stare with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant star. Patrolling means to go around an area, and area नहीं है. This is an area at regular. It is an area at regular timing to check that it is safe. As the police do the patrolling, so same patrolling is used here. The patrolling cars and stare with his brilliant eyes. The poet says that in the night the tiger hears the sound of the patrolling car, the car which are on duty, which are doing patrolling duty. Then he hears the sound of those patrolling cars, and these patrolling cars are the vehicles of the police, which are used to guard at the night. So in night the tiger hears the sound of these cars and stare with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. He then stares at the shining stars of the night with his shining eyes. The poet wants to say that the tiger who is inside the cage, he is very sad. And why he is sad? Because he is confined in the cage. He is not free to go anywhere and he cannot do anything. Therefore he stares. He just what he can do, he only stares. He can watch only at the stars in the night and tries to divert his thoughts towards them, and in this way he tries to console himself. In this poem the poet is telling us, he is trying to tell us that how the life of the cage has totally changed his personality. The tiger's personality is totally changed by the life of the cage, and he is trying to say that the animal which is famous for its ferociousness, which is famous for its bravery, fearlessness and freedom, now his freedom is confined and he is very sad. His condition is pitiable due to the human beings who want to derive pleasure by looking at him in the zoo cage. Now I thought that you have understood the poem very well, and if you have any problem you can write in the comment section. Please like and subscribe our channel for further classes. Thank you.